I want to tell you what I would have done if I were starting over in my career as a software developer, knowing what I know now about everything that I've encountered in life and the experience that I've had. I want to tell you how I would get started as a software developer to be able to advance my career as fast as possible, make the most money as I could, and have the highest job satisfaction. So here's the deal. When I started out as a software developer, I didn't really know what to do. I didn't really understand. I wasn't even really planning anything in terms of my career. I started learning some things. I was like, let me try and get a job. I learned some C, I learned some C++, tried to get a job doing that. I picked out technologies that I liked and things that I thought I was interested in. And I did teach myself for the most part. I went to school for a year for a CS degree, found out that, gosh, that was not for me at all. And I already got a job during the summer and it was good. I did definitely teach myself and I did learn rapidly and I did become really successful. But if I were to go back and say, all right, knowing what I know now, if I were starting today and going to learn software development, what would I do? What steps would I take? So the very first thing that I would do is I would start researching coding boot camps. One of the best ways to learn something is through immersion. I would go and I would find a coding boot camp so that I can get that immersion. And I would look and see which ones are the best coding boot camps that are out there in terms of job placement. Because I don't really care what they're going to teach me, because I know as a software developer that it doesn't matter what language or technology you use, it's all the same. If you can program in one language, if you understand programming concepts, then you will be able to use that in your career, and you could learn 10 different programming languages. When I first getting started out, I thought, oh, look how many programming languages I know. It doesn't matter. You only really know one. Don't get me wrong. You can get into the details and the mastery of different languages and different paradigms that you would use to program and whatnot. I'm not naive on that, but I'm saying that the basic idea of problem solving and creating algorithms, you only need to know one language, one thing to understand that. So I would look for the best coding bootcamp that had the highest placement rates, because that's what I'm interested in. Is I know that if I break into the industry and I get a job and I get a good job, then I can always grow and develop from there. But the key is getting in, and getting in is hard. So I would find a coding bootcamp. I wouldn't really worry about the cost either, because it doesn't really matter if a coding bootcamp is $5,000 or $20,000, because in the end, that investment is going to pay off a huge amount. Even if I had to use a credit card or go into debt or get a loan for this, there's a lot of different programs for it. I would absolutely do it, because I know that I'm going to get a 6-figure job right out of the coding bootcamp. It is possible, because I have a lot of coaching clients that I've worked with. I've helped them to do that. So that's what I would do, is I'd research, find the best one. Don't worry about the cost of it. And then I would get on the phone with them and I would get their curriculum. The next thing I would do is I would take that syllabus and I would go learn it on my own. I'd go to places like Udemy and buy some courses. I would go and buy a few books if I needed to. I'd go to places like freecodecamp.org. I would go there and I would find all these resources. Even just look on YouTube for YouTube videos on free tutorials and stuff like that. And if you have to spend a little bit of money on buying some courses from some people, that I think that's fine. But I would self-study. There's so much material out there. See, a lot of you guys, the reason why you're not able to really make any traction is because you don't have a plan. You don't have an exact path. You don't have a curriculum. If you have that curriculum, I'm sure that you can find how to learn all of the things that they're going to teach you. Now, you don't have to master all this stuff, but if you spend the first 3 months going through and learning it on your own, really dedicated, spending 3-4 hours a day working on this, and then you go into the coding bootcamp, I would already be at the top of the class. Because here's the psychology behind this, is that if a coding bootcamp is going to become successful, they have to place students, because the reason why people go into coding bootcamps is to get good jobs. And so coding bootcamps have arrangements with companies to hire from the best students of the coding bootcamp. So your goal, my goal would be to become the best in that coding bootcamp, or at least in the top 5 or 10%, because I know that those people are going to get jobs. And so I would go to the coding bootcamp, I would drop anything else, no job, nothing else. This is some serious stuff here. So I could fully dedicate all my time to this, completely immerse into it. Do the coding bootcamp, help other people in the coding bootcamp, and then I would help the teachers so that I become a mentor in that. If doing that, my whole point would be that I'm going to get selected by the instructors in the coding bootcamp to be referred to companies, and I'm going to get the best job. That's how I would do it today. Again, there's a lot of different ways you could become a software developer, but if I were starting over today, that's a 6-month process to getting a 6-figure job. You could literally do that from knowing nothing really about programming and accomplish that goal. And I know it's true because I have helped guys do that before. There you have it. If you guys haven't checked out my books on Amazon, go to Amazon and buy The Complete Software Developer Career Guide and Soft Skills Software Developer Life Manual. I think you're going to find both of those books, not just good books for helping you in your career and your life, but just fun. That's the biggest feedback I get. Give me a like on this video if you like this video, and I'll talk to you next time.